Welcome to the weekly Sunday Puja and Dhamma sharing online, organized by MSBS and supported by TBCM. Today is the 24th January 2021. To start the Puja, we shall cross over to Malacca. Over to you, Di Ling Huat.
Sukhi Hotu, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. It is good to come together again for our regular TBCM Sunday Puja. Now let us compose our minds and prepare ourselves to commence this Puja as I read the reflections on the offerings. Offering of lights. May we offer these candles burning brightly out of deep respect and veneration to our enlightened Master, the Buddha. May these lights symbolically guide us to the light of the Dhamma, which dispels the darkness of greed with the light of generosity, the gloominess of hatred with the light of love, and the darkness of ignorance with the light of wisdom, through the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Offering of joss sticks and incense. May we offer these joss sticks and incense out of deep respect and veneration to our blessed Master, the Buddha. May our good deeds be like the fragrance of these joss sticks, cultivating compassion, patience, tolerance, understanding, and love towards all living beings. Offering of water. May we offer this water to symbolize our aspiration to cultivate the virtues of calmness, clarity, and purity. Let it remind us to diligently cleanse ourselves of our spiritual defilements and delusions through the cultivation of generosity, compassion, and wisdom. Offering of flowers. These flowers too we offer out of deep respect and gratitude to our compassionate Master, the Buddha. These flowers, sweet, beautiful, and choice, are clustered at the feet of our noble Master. Beautiful as they are now, they will soon, with the passing of time, wilt and fade and be cast away. Reflecting thus on this very nature of unsatisfactoriness, impermanence, and soullessness, let us tread the path shown by the Buddha for the eradication of suffering here and now. Let us now pay our homage to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha by saying sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Let's pay homage to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha to start this morning's puja. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Pānātipātā Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyāmi Adinādāna Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyāmi Kāmesu Micchācārā Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyāmi Musāvādā Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyāmi Surāmeraya Majjapamādatāna Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyāmi Iti piso bhagavā arahang samma sambuddho vicchācarana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati satta deva manussanang buddha Bhagavati Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipasiko Panaiko Pacchatang Veditappo Vinyuhiti Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Patipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Samici Patipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Yadidang Chattari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Puggala Esa Bhagavato Sangho Ahuneyo Bahuneyo Dakineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttarang Punyaketang Lokasati Vandami cetiyang sabbang sapatane supatititang saririka dhatu mahabodhing buddha rupang sakalang sada Yassa mule nisinno vasabbari vijayang aka Patto sabbanyutang satta vandetang bodhipagapang ime ete mahabodhi lokanatena pujita aham pitena namasami bodhi raja namatute Ganasarapaditena dipena tamadang sinati lokadipang sambuddhang Pujayami tamonudang Ganda sambhara yuttena dupena hang sugandina Pujaye pujaniyantang puja bhajana muttamang Adivase no bante paniyang parikappitang Anukampang upadaya patiganhatu muttamang Adivase no bante bojanang parikappitang Anukampang upadaya patiganhatu muttamang Adivase tu no bante gilana pacayang imang Anukampang upadaya patiganhatu muttamang Vanna ganna guno petang etang kusuma santating Pujayami munindasa siripada saroruhe Pujemi buddhang kusumena nena punyena metena cahotu mokkang Uppang nilayati yata idang me kayo tatayati vinasa bhavang Akasatta ca bummatta devanaga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva cirang rakhantu loka sasanang Akasatta ca bummatta devanaga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva cirang rakhantu desanang Akasatta ca bummatta devanaga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva cirang rakhantu mang paranti Devo vasatu kalena sasa sampati hetu ca Pito bhavatu loko ca raja bhavatu dhammiko Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo Satang samagamo hotu yavane banapatiya Kayena vaca cittena pamadena maya katang Acayang kamame bante buri panya tathagata Kayena vaca cittena pamadena maya katang Acayang kamame dhamma sandittika akalika Kayena vaca cittena pamadena maya katang Acayang kamame sangha supatipanna anuttara Now let's chant the Metta Sutta together. Karaniya mata kusalena yantang santang padang abhisamecha Sakko ujuca sujuca suvaco ca samudu anatimani Santus sako ca subaro ca appakicco ca sallahu kavoti Santindriyo ca nipako ca appagabbo kulesu ananugiddo Nacha kuddang samachare kinchiyena vinyo pare upavadeyong Sukhino vakemino hontu sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta ye kecipana bhutatti tasava tavarava anavasesa Jigavaye mahantava majjima rasakanukatula Dittava yeva additta ye ca dure vasanti avidure Bhutava sambhave siva sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta Naparo parang nikopeta nati manyeta kata cinang kanji Biaro sanapatika sanya nanya manya sadukka miceya Yata niyang putang ayusa eka putta manurake Evang pisabba bhutesu manasang bhavaye aparimanang Mettang ca sabba lokasming manasang bhavaye aparimanang Uddang ado ca tiriyang ca asambhagang averang asapatang Tittang carang visinno vasayano vayavata savikatamido Etang sating aditeya brahma metang viharang idamahu Ditting ca anupagamma silavadasanena sampanno Kamesu vinaya gedang nahi jatu kapaseyang punaretiti Etena sajja vajjena sottite hotu sapada Etena sajja vajjena sottite hotu sapada Etena sajja vajjena sottite hotu sapada Sadhu 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 Over to you, Brother Terence.
Thank you, Di Ling Huat and Sister Kut for the nice puja. Today's Dhamma sharing is led by Didi Ānanda Fong. He is the highly knowledgeable Dhamma speaker in Malaysia. Didi Ananda was a student of the late Venerable K. Sri Dhammananda and became the facilitator and deputy principal at Buddhist Institute Sunday Dhamma School at Buddhist Mahavihara, KL. He was the first Secretary General of the TBCM 2012 and later the Assistant Honorary Secretary General until 2018. He still manages the TBCM Facebook page. Didi Ananda actively promotes reading the Nikayas and facilitates Dhamma courses and sharing regularly in Malaysia. Over to you, Didi Ananda.
Thank you, Didi Terence, for the kind introduction. To start the sharing, let me do a short puja. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. This morning sharing, entitled Buddha Quotes, are they real or fake? Well, first of all, we need to get to know who is the Buddha. In this particular extract from a particular sutta, the Buddha records an encounter with with Upaka, an ascetic who was along the journey when the Buddha left the Bodhi tree where he got enlightened, and he was on the journey to Sanath or Isipatana, the deer park, to seek out the 5 ascetics. Upaka asked the Buddha, "Who is your teacher? Whose teaching do you profess?" And the Buddha replied, "I have no teacher. One like me does not exist in all the world, for I am the peerless teacher, the Arahat. I alone am supremely enlightened, quenching all defilements. Nibbana's calm have I attained. I go to the city of Kasi or Benares to set in motion the wheel of Dhamma. In the world where blindness reigns, I shall beat the deathless drum." So this clearly was declared by the Buddha. Now, some of us, we also wonder, what does the Buddha teach, or what is Buddhism about? And all of us definitely have a lot of desirable wishes. We wish to have long life, beauty, happiness, fame, and in the afterlife, rebirth in heaven. But the Buddha clearly said, "Of these 5 things, House Lord, I do not teach that they are to be obtained through prayer, nor through wishing. If one could obtain them through prayer or through wishing, who would not obtain them? For a noble disciple, House Lord, who wishes to have rebirth in heaven, long life, and so on, it is not proper that he should pray for rebirth in heaven, partake delight in doing so. He should rather follow a way of life that is conducive to rebirth in heaven. By following such a path, he would obtain rebirth in heaven." This again is from the suttas. So from the Dhammapada, the Buddha says regarding committing evil or good. Should a person commit evil, let him not do it again and again. Let him not find pleasure therein, for painful is the accumulation of evil. Should a person do good, let him do it again and again. Let him find pleasure therein, for blissful is the accumulation of good. In essence, practicing the Dhamma is important, as strongly emphasized by the Buddha in the numerous examples I've already shown. In this particular one, the Buddha mentioned, having abandoned bodily misconduct, verbal misconduct, misconduct of mind, and whatever else is flawed. Not having done what's not skillful, having done much that is skillful. At the break of the body, the discerning one reappears in heaven. So clearly, we can see the flavor of the Dhamma taught by the Buddha. And how should we honor the Buddha? As advised by the Buddha's stepmother, Mahapajapati Gautami Theri. See the following of the gathering of followers, putting forth effort, self-control, always with strong resolution. This is how to honor the Buddha. So clearly, when we honor, it's not by giving a lot of joss sticks, burning paper, and so on, but to actually practice the Dhamma, as advised by the Buddha. And elsewhere, in the Vinaya Pitaka, the Buddha was sending off the first 60 arahats right after he had encountered the 5 ascetics. The Buddha mentioned, "Go monks on tour for the benefit of the common folk, the happiness of the common folk, out of compassion for the world, the welfare, the benefit, the happiness of the gods and human beings." Clearly, the Dhamma or Buddhism that the Buddha has put forth is for our benefit, for our happiness, for our welfare. And because of that, we often see in social media all kinds of claim quotations purportedly from the Buddha. But what is a quote? Well, this particular dictionary mentions to repeat or copy out words from a text or speech written or spoken by another person, and so on. So clearly, it is a repeat or copy of words from video, from audio, from text, basically something mentioned by someone. So that is called a quote. And what is fake? An object that is made to look real or valuable in order to deceive people. And more recently, we have a not often used word, disinformation. And it's defined as false information deliberately and often covertly spread as by the planting of rumors in order to influence public opinion or obscure the truth. So we have to bear these in mind. What is a quote? What is fake? And what is disinformation? Well, we frequently receive in social media, whether Facebook platforms, WhatsApp platforms, and any other platforms that you may fancy, all kinds of good morning wishes and so on, often with a Buddha Rupa in the background. Note in all these 4 quotes, there is no mention that they are from the Buddha. But common sense would say, if we were to use a Buddha Rupa in the background, most people would think, oh, this quotation must be from the Buddha. It's called leading you on. Is that appropriate? That's a question for you to answer. Here is a small selection of purport quotes, but now attributing it to the Buddha, usually ending with Buddha, or the Buddha is put in the text itself, as in the top left-hand corner. They are shared widely, can be found on many sites, on general sites, even on Buddhist sites, uninformed Buddhist sites. But they have been verified to be fake because the Buddha didn't say this. Here are more examples. Very common examples you see in your social media. So everything on this page are fake Buddha quotes, allegedly from the Buddha, said by the Buddha, but can never be found in any of these reference texts that mention what the Buddha taught. So let us take a leaf from a person who has taken pains to study whether these quotes lingering in the social media, whether they are true or not. This is by a person called Bohipaksa from the US, who has even created a website to analyze all these and label them as fake or true quotes. So this particular quote, if you light a lamp for someone else, it will also brighten your path. Now this analysis, the Bohipaksa mentions, this is a nice quote, but every time I saw it being shared in social media or quoted in blogs, it rang an alarm bell. Not because the sentiment is untrue, nor because the language was of the kind that the Buddha wouldn't have used, but simply because in many years of reading the Pali Canon and various Mahayana Sutras, I'd never seen it in a primary source, nor had I seen it come with a scriptural citation. Now, the term scriptural citation is very important. The lazy people who try to put a quote and attribute it to the Buddha doesn't bother to put a scriptural citation, which actually points to where in the scripture is this quote to be found. So obscuring the primary source location. Paksa continues. He finally traced it to something written by Nichiren, possibly in the year 1278. If one gives food to others, one will improve one's own lot. Just as, for example, if one lights a fire for others, one will brighten one's own way. Again, this isn't to question the spiritual validity of the quote. I just want to straighten out false attributions, which is an important aspect of identifying fake Buddha quotes. The most common use of a lamb metaphor in the Pali canon is not actually something said by the Buddha, but something said to the Buddha by many who had come to talk to him, having learned from their exchanges. These learners were extant in the stock phrase, as quoted in the scriptures. Magnificent Lord, magnificent, just as if he were to place upright what was overturned, to reveal what was hidden, to show the way to one who was lost, or to carry a lamp into the dark so that those with eyes could see forms. In the same way has the Blessed One, through many, many lines of reasoning, made the Dhamma clear. This is common stock phrase, as the Paksa mentions, at the end of some suttas where a lay person or a religious person who have come and asked the Buddha some questions, and the Buddha explains, and the listener is ever so delighted by the explanation given by the Buddha. And this is the appreciation shown to the Buddha. Even greetings by various groups on Vesak Day can't even take the trouble to make sure that the quote is genuine. And in this particular case, use a fake Buddha quote, which happens to be from Jack Confused, Buddha's Little Instruction Book, as one of the sources, many sources of Buddha quotes, presumably because people get confused by the title and think that it's a book of actual quotations from the Buddha. So they are everywhere in blog articles, published books, and so on. So how do fake Buddha quotes arise? There are simple errors of attribution, where someone else's words have somehow been ascribed to the Buddha. Then there are the lost in translation quotes, where someone is creatively rendered, who has creatively rendered the Buddha's words into a new, improved version that may express their own view of spirituality, but are so far from the original meaning that they are essentially fake. And sometimes people just make up a spiritual sounding quote and stick the Buddha on the end. But it can be hard to tell. So you can see all these kinds of reasons. But the rule of thumb is that if you can't find a quote in the scriptures, any scriptures, including those of the Mahayana traditions, we should regard it as fake, because the Buddha didn't say that, it's obvious. If there's no evidence of him having said something, then we shouldn't claim he did. People often tell me that the Buddha was too spiritual to be bothered about being misquoted. Actually, this is wrong. The reality is that the scriptures are full of stories in which the Buddha sets some seeker straight about what he has said, and where he condemns those who have misquoted him. And this is important because the Buddha weighs his words. Every letter, every example used matters. When people try to rephrase his quotes and claim it's from the Buddha, it carries a different meaning, and the Buddha lessons, Buddhist lessons are lost. One objection is that the meaning and spirit of a quote, they are important, not who said it. So some people use this excuse. And it's true that just because a quote is fake doesn't mean that it's wrong or spiritually invalid. In fact, that's not what we are talking about. We are saying whether it came from the Buddha, yes or no. So some fake quotes are so Buddhist that I wish the Buddha had actually said them. So what's the problem? Well, the picture on the bottom right shows clearly. It's not from the Buddha. is a lie. So the problem is to quote to the Buddha is to make a claim about the fact that this is something the Buddha said. A quote may be in line with the Buddha's teaching and may even be inspiring and spiritually useful. But surely it's better to get our facts straight. After all, didn't the Buddha have a few things to say about truthful speech? So how do we verify potential fake Buddha quotes? Well, you can visit Bodhipaksa's fakebuddhaquotes.com website to get an idea of the range of quotes that people have submitted to him, in which he has analyzed, either branded them as fake or as true. So although many of the fake quotes can be found on this website, some may not have come to Bodhipaksa's attention. You may forward a suspicious quote to him for analysis. So you can visit this particular website. So do you share and forward as received? Many people do, claiming, oh, I share forward as received. That does not absolve you of your responsibility for having shared. Or do you share and forward only when you are certain? For me, for myself, I frequently receive all kinds of posters in social media, and it ends with Gautama Buddha or the Buddha. When that happens, I would brand it fake until proven otherwise, because their fake quotes are so numerous. It is not a matter of innocent until proven guilty, because they have proven themselves to be fake more often than true. So in the Kalama Sutta, the Buddha has advised, don't go by reports, by legends, by traditions, by scripture, by logical conjecture, by inference, by analogies, by agreement through pondering views, by probability, or by the thought. This contemplative is our teacher. In fact, I will, in the first line, by reports, well, reported in social media, any poster. So be aware of what has been said. The criteria for judging what is worth saying. Now, this is interesting. This is, although the Buddha primarily give this advice based on verbal speech, but today, much of the verbal speech that is coming out of people are coming in the form, not just on audio, on video, but in the form of posters shared in social media. So in the Abhaya Raja Kumara Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya Sutta number 58, the Buddha gave these 6 possible iterations and 5 criteria. Whether the statement being mentioned, the message being forwarded is factual or not, whether it is true, whether it is beneficial, whether it is agreeable, and whether it is to be said at a proper time. Now, clearly, if the item is factual, it is usually worth saying. It is true, it's worth saying. But sometimes factual and true are one, but it is not beneficial. So it's because of that, it is not worth saying. But to say whether it is agreeable, agreeable means to the listener's ears. Sometimes certain things must be said, even though it is not agreeable. And of course, it should be said at the proper time. So in the Buddha's case, out of the 6 possible circumstances that he would utter certain speech, the Buddha would only agree to number 3 and number 6. In number 3, the item that he needs to say is factual, is true, is beneficial. It is the proper time to say it, but it's not pleasant, not agreeable to the listener's ears. So, but he still says it because it is for the purpose of teaching, for the well-being of the listener. Ideally, it should be number 6, where all factors are yes. That means it is factual, it is true, beneficial, it's agreeable, and it is said at the proper time. So to get the circumstances and the full range of the meaning of what this sutta conveys, please check out Abhaya Sutta from Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta number 58. Now, Bodhipaksa mentioned about many areas in which in the Tipitaka, which houses the words of the Buddha and other enlightened disciples. The Buddha has also reprimanded those who have misrepresented the Buddha. In this sutta, Abhasita Sutta, from the Anguttara Nikaya book of 2, the Buddha mentions, Mendicants, these two misrepresent the realized one. What two? One who explains what was not spoken by the realized one as spoken by him, and one who explains what was spoken by the realized one as not spoken by him. These two misrepresent the realized one. So clearly, the Buddha has something to say about those who who presents fake information for whatever reasons, whether it's to split up groups like in disinformation or otherwise. And the bottom portion, these two don't misrepresent the realized one. What two? One who explains what is not spoken by the realized one as not spoken by him, and one who explains what was spoken by the realized one as spoken by him. These two don't misrepresent the realized one. So if you look hard enough in other sections of the Tipitaka, you will probably find similar statements from other suttas. So the key issue is, are you spreading fake Buddha quotes? My recommended stance is that if you find a particular quote ending with just Gautama Buddha, or have a Buddha Rupa in the background, don't forward it, even though the message seems very reasonable, seems wise. Why? Because it's not from the Buddha. Unless, of course, you have verified that it is. That is a different case. But many of us are guilty of just forwarding, and that perpetuates and reinforces people's mind that these quotes are actually from the Buddha. So you are perpetuating this information. So be on the right side of truth. So in the end, as a Buddhist, we need to know the Buddha word, or at the very least, how to check it out for ourselves. So how does one come to know the Buddha word? Well, in the next sharing, I will share with you the Buddha word. Where can I find them to answer this particular question? And on this particular page, you can find various posters created, and you will note a certain characteristic among all these posters. They don't end with the Buddha or Gautama Buddha. They tell you exactly where in the Tipitaka it can be found. And much of the Tipitaka has been digitized, and you can search for them easily via your search engine. This particular sutta, from which Nikaya, and so on. That is a characteristic of a true Buddha quote. So be watchful for whatever you receive on social media. So that's the end of this morning's sharing that I have for you. Buddha quotes, are they real or fake? In closing, let us do a benediction, reciting the Pali text only. Akasatta ca bummatta deva naga mahittika punyang tang anumoditva cirang rakkantu sasanang cirang rakkantu desanang cirang rakkantu mamparan. Dedication of merits. Edang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatoyo. Edang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatoyo. Edang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatoyo. Closing veneration. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. Sabbe Sattha Sukhi Hontu. May all beings be happy. Thank you for your attention. Back to you, Brother Terence.
Thank you, Didi Ananda, for the sharing. Do join us on Tuesday for the weekly guided meditation by Prago Adibalo. The session starts at 8:30 p.m. Thank you for watching. For other videos, please visit the links below. Goodbye for now. See you all next week. Bye-bye.